How's it going, guys? Cody back again, dropping yet another video. Check this, guys, for time. 4:19 a.m. Tuesday, 17th of March 2020. YouTuber never sleeps. Anyway, so yesterday, Monday, the 16th of March, I was contacted by a prison source, reference Forest Bank Prison. Forest Bank Prison is my former prison. It's a prison I've served in, and I've worked as a cleaner, and I've just been locked behind my door, right? But it's ran, I use the word ran, by those jokers, Sodexo Justice Services. Now, this prison source had informed me that one, not two, but three prisoners have apparently contracted COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Now, this is unconfirmed right now, so I'm not trying to spread mass panic or anything like that. But I trust my prison sources, right? Whenever I've been fed stories from prison, about prison and prison situations and deaths and suicides and murders even, right? And prison officer corruption and all this sort of stuff, 95% of the time, they're bang on, right? So I've got no reason to doubt the information. It's also alarming that just yesterday, there was a confirmed report that a prison officer, male officer at HMP Highdown had contracted and tested positive for the coronavirus on Saturday. Highdown is down in Surrey, and the prison officer is now in self-isolation. And I believe that they've said 4 inmates, but one officer would normally come into contact with more than 4 prisoners, especially when you don't know how long he's had the symptoms and you might not have known and stuff like that. But those 4 prisoners are being put in isolation, but they're very limited in prison to isolate any prisoner, because you've got the healthcare wing, you've got the segregation wing, or you can isolate them on a wing, and you might have to make them like shower differently, separately from other prisoners and stuff like that. But single cells within our prisons are safe for high-risk prisoners. But a prison officer has been confirmed as having a case of the coronavirus or COVID-19. That's down in Surrey. This information about Forest Bank, now, like I've said, again, a disclaimer, it's unconfirmed at this moment, right? But apparently 3 prisoners on the induction wing, which is E1, I believe it was E1, then it was G2, then it was H1, and it's gone back to E1 now. At Forest Bank, I'm a former prisoner. I've served time in Forest Bank, as you may or may not know. So 3 prisoners have apparently, they've shown symptoms, or they've been confirmed, from what I believe and what I've been told, they've been confirmed cases of the coronavirus within Forest Bank Prison. Now, the thing is with any prison, right, they're not forthcoming with the truth. And what I mean by that, guys, and I'll explain, is prisons have Twitter accounts, right? And all they do is they push propaganda. They suppress the negatives and they push the positives, very few that they have. So when it comes to like deaths in custody or prison officer arrests or the coronavirus, they're not forthcoming with the information, right? Somebody's commented on my channel and said that apparently there's been three cases at Cardiff, or 2 cases at Cardiff, and 1 at HMP Swansea, both prisons in the south of Wales. That's not being confirmed. There's nothing in the media about that. But the facts are, the reality is, I think it's only a matter of time before we get widespread coronavirus within our prisons. And I've got my fingers crossed, and I pray to God, right? Because prisoners, prison officers as well, but prisoners are sitting ducks in prison, right? And the thing is, my biggest worry is that they're going to stop social visits, or legal visits and social visits. Now, if they stop social visits for prisoners, you could see widespread violence within our prisons. And you might think, well, you're talking rubbish, Cody. I can't reiterate enough to those prisoners that receive visits on a regular basis, week in, week out, right, or day in, day out. If you are on remand, you can have a visit every single day, half an hour, or a 2.5 hour block visit a week. But yeah, once you're convicted, you can have 1 visit a week, unless you were enhanced, and then you get an extra visit a month, and then they have family visits and stuff like that once you become enhanced, if you've got kids and stuff like that. Anyway, so the coronavirus in prison is a real scary situation, guys. And like I said, this officer that's been confirmed, the prisoners have not been confirmed, those 4 in the HMP high down situation have not been confirmed, those 4 prisoners. But it's a very contagious disease, virus even. And like I said, people are saying, oh, it's spread by, it's on your hands and you touch your mouth and all these sorts of mad things, right? Other people, I've read something from SARS, and they said that they believe that it can be spread by breathing it in and stuff, and people coughing and sneezing and the droplets, and just like a cold, a common cold or a flu, and people can get it. People that are elderly, people that are pregnant, people that are in bad health, that might have COPD, which is obviously a respiratory severe problem and stuff, they are most at risk, right? Children, young children, babies, no immune system yet, or developing immune system. Older prisoners, again, fragile health and things like that. Now, what you need to look at prison, when you go to prison, if you are serving 20 years, 30 years, or a whole life tariff, when you're in prison, your health doesn't follow you as well as it would on the out, because prison healthcare is absolutely appalling. I used healthcare, I should have said. Prison healthcare is shocking. There's a lot of false light. Like I say, you get vitamin D deficiencies because of the natural light, because there's a lack thereof. Prisoners cover the cell thingies because they like to sleep the jail away or whatever they're doing. So your health deteriorates worse in prison. You might be 35, 40 and might have the health of a 50, 60-year-old. Obviously, health differs each and everywhere you go. But when you were in prison, I genuinely believe that your life expectancy comes down, and I believe that you are more vulnerable and susceptible to diseases and stuff and coughs. When you've got a highly contagious disease, or virus, within a prison, right, and no one has a clue fully about how it works. Don't take ibuprofen. It's by contaminated surfaces and stuff like that. It's coughing and sneezing and spluttering, right? That's why all these people across the world are buying these masks and stuff, right? You're in prison. You're living in close proximity. You've got 2 prisoners in a cell meant for 1 man, overcrowded, right? In Forest Bank Prison, where these 3 alleged confirmed cases of the coronavirus are said to be, right, is once you get down to the main, right, it is literally, the wings are very small, it's very compact. Your cell, you can pretty much more or less touch from one wall to the other if you've got long enough arms. And you've got, like I said, people living in close proximity. They have these, like, it looks like an AC sort of thing, and all it is, it's recycled air that gets chewed up, spat out, chewed up, spat out, chewed up, spat out. You've got a highly contagious virus, and it's just going through, churning, spat out, churn back out. And like I said, you've got to think, in the prisons that have got these, like, it's not an air conditioning system, but it's like, it's recycling the air, right? You've got to think, prisons are old. A lot of these prisons are old and dilapidated. We've got new builds like HMP Berwyn, the super prison, super in only its size and its failings, guys. But a lot of these prisons are dilapidated, they're very run down. And like I said, even when it's been cleaned by the wing cleaners, the prison and the wings are still not clean, right? And you can pick up contagious things in prison, like you can pick up scabies in prison. When I first went to jail, I showered without any, I didn't have any like sliders on, right? And they was like, bro, never ever get into the shower without any flip-flops on, right? And they said you can get scabies, verrucas. Obviously, verrucas is a minor, but you can get scabies. People are getting Hep B in prison. I had my Hep B jabs when I was in Forest Bank, for example. So you're picking up contagious diseases, right? And prisoners have died in the prison system because, like I say, we've got an ever-aging prison population. People are getting done for historical sex offences and stuff, and there's definitely a problem with the amount of people being sent. Well, it's not a problem with the amount of people being sent to prison for historical sex offences, but we've got an ever-aging prison population. You've got prisoners living in close proximity. Healthcare within prison, and I can't stress this enough, is absolutely shocking and appalling. Mental health services are inadequate, and like I said, healthcare within the prison is just shocking. Some prisons are better than others, but overall, guys, the sheer amount of prisoners that are leaving prison in body bags through dying through natural causes, or they've got cancer and it's not being treated, or they haven't got the staff, and all these sorts of mad things. Now, this source that's reached out to me referenced the coronavirus in Forest Bank has stated that the prison's been more or less in lockdown with minimal movement unless absolutely necessary. So I'm thinking visits, legal visits, things like that. But apparently they're saying that they're short-staffed as well now. I don't know if any staff have potentially contracted that. I don't know. But a lot of staff could think, well, I don't really want to risk going in, so I'm going to ring up, put on my sick voice, and I'm going to try and get out of going out to work and saying, I've got something, oh yeah, I'm not too well. Right, and stuff like that. So then the senior management and the staff within the prison are going to say, yeah, don't come in, stay at home. Because it's about trying to stop the spread. Now, if you stop prison visits, right, prison visits are an integral part for keeping a prisoner's head on his shoulders. And it's not just beneficial for the prisoner, it's also beneficial for the prisoner's family, the mother, father, girlfriend, wife, partner, brother, whatever, right? Now, if they stop prison visits, guys, there's going to be a backlash. Now, some prisoners might understand and think, right, you know what, it's to stop this virus getting worse and stuff and spreading and stuff. Because like I said, you've got prison officers that are going home at the end of every shift, then they're coming back in. They could be contaminated and bringing it into the prison. You've got prison visits, social visits as well. So you've got prisoners' friends and family could be potentially carrying the virus to coming into prison. Prisoners that are being sent down day in, day out, they could be carrying the virus and have unknown symptoms or not know that they've got the symptoms. They get sent to prison. They're on the wing. Like I said, it's a very cramped, overcrowded situation with healthcare that is, like I say, it'd be laughable if it wasn't for the amount of mental health and self-harm and violence and injuries and prisoners leaving prison in body bags, right? So if they stop prison visits, right, to stop the contamination and stuff, and like I said, you've got legal visits, solicitors that might be contaminated, going into the prison, having a face-to-face with a prisoner, contamination could take place, right? Social visits, contamination could take place with relatives of prisoners, right? You've got prison officers, they're on the wing, they're getting about, they're going from one wing to another, they might be on an escort, whatever, they might be working in visits. Again, visits, same sort of problem. Lots of people from different wings congregating in one place, friends and family. You've got children running around and stuff like that. It's a very, very scary, very, very scary time for people in prison. If you're in an old people's home or you're in a prison, you are at real risk. And prisoners are sitting ducks. And like I've said, if you're at home and you start to feel unwell, right, or you can ring 101, you can go to the doctors, you can, if it becomes that bad that you're struggling to breathe, you can go to A&E. In prison, you don't have that luxury. You have to put an app in, right? And like I say, you'd be when I was in Forest Bank, I saw a doctor once. And I even got told when I was being processed, you'd be very lucky if you see a doctor in here. The nurses are very limited in what they can give you. Ibuprofen, cocodamol, dissolvable cocodamol, and things like that, guys. They are extremely limited what they can give you. Now, ibuprofen, from what I've just seen and what I've read, you're not to take. Now, if you look at the UK system, they're saying that there's the potential, doesn't mean it's going to happen, the potential for executive releases. An executive release is being classed as low risk prisoners that are coming towards the end of the sentence. So potentially Cat C, Cat D prisoners that are close to getting out and they want to release them. One problem. Do you think that the whole country could come to a standstill? The courts are still going to continue to send people to prison. Fact. So prison isn't about rehabilitation. Prison is a business. And they're going to continue to send people to prison because that's what they do. That's what they do. That's what they do. You look at LA right now. I was looking at a story in LA. Now I'm just going to Google this real quick, right? So here, to halt coronavirus, LA County Jail cuts jail population. See, cities in the US move to lower inmate population as coronavirus fears grow. Right? So other countries, America, and I think over in the Middle East, I think a prison released tens of thousands of prisoners because they know what's coming. Right? And like I said, it's not easy enough, is it? It's getting progressively worse. Now, those people amongst my followers and stuff that are all about conspiracy theories, I do believe there's an element of that, but like I've said, with prisoners and this potential executive release. Now, this executive release, I don't think will take place, right? But the thing is, and if they do release prisoners, it's not because out of compassion and the goodness of their heart. It's probably taking into consideration that any prisoners that die, right, through this coronavirus whilst in prison, right, and like I've said, you know how contagious it is, guys, right? So for every prisoner that dies in the UK prison system in England and Wales, right, Scotland justice has been devolved, right? They look after their own, right? They would have to pay £3,000 to £4,000 for every prisoner that drops dead towards the cost of funerals, right? Now, like I said, that doesn't come as any sort of comfort to those families that lose somebody whilst in prison. The coronavirus is deadly, right? And like I've said, if you're out in the air and someone coughs walking past you, chances are it's going to go into the environment. When you're in prison and you cough and you sneeze and you're spluttering, right? Like I said, recycled there, chewed up, spat out, and it's being fed in. And like I say, do you think that with prisons being what they are, right, and like I said, run down and dilapidated, and like I said, a lot of these prisons don't have recycled air and everything else, right? Do you think that there's like some big filter on these like recycled air things, right, where it's going to stop this virus in its tracks and it's going to catch it? These are microscopic, tiny things that could only be seen under very high magnification. These like viruses in its like on them little jelly plates that they used to use in science and everything, right? So no, it's not. And like I said, you've got prisoners. If you're on an induction wing, right, prisoners are landing at the prison, then they're getting shipped down to the main and stuff, and you're potentially spreading that as well. Because if you've got one prisoner that gets it and he's in a double cell, the second guy's going to get it. They're living in the same space. They're sharing the same sink. They're sharing the same toilet. They're touching the same things. They're locked up for sustained amounts of time. Now, at Forest Bank, prisoners are currently spending a lot longer behind their door. Now, when I was in Strangeways, which is a Cat A, even though it only houses 40 Category A prisoners and E-list prisoners, right, I used to spend 22 to 23 hours a day locked up. You know what you're getting in the jail. You're getting bang up and lots of it. Forest Bank, at first, when I landed there, I kicked off, right, because I was used to Strangeways, and then you get amongst it on the wing, and you get a lot more association. On a weekend, you can have 5 to 6 hours a day, right? Now, apparently, prisoners are spending longer locked up, right? They're saying they haven't got the staff. Now, that could be a cover for the coronavirus, but prisoners within the prison are talking that there's been 3 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Forest Bank. Now, the prison are not going to run to the media and release a press release from the Sodexo press office saying, yes, just to let everybody know, yes, 3 prisoners have contracted this highly deadly disease, very contagious and everything else. No. And like I said, they can't send them home to self-isolate. No. They're limited, right? You've got single cells, right? But single cells are saved. And there's let me tell you, literally there's tens and tens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of double cells. And then you might have a couple of single cells. Single cells are saved for high-risk prisoners. Prisoners that if they shared their space with another prisoner and lived there, they could attack them. Or they're racially high. Racially high, so you might, if you were put with a Muslim inmate, there's a chance that you could potentially attack them. Or a black inmate, or gang of, all these mad things, right? So high-risk prisoners are saved. Single cells are saved for high-risk prisoners. So that very much limits the prison. The healthcare, you've got to look, healthcare wings, small wings, depending on what prison you're in, right? The facts are, healthcare wings, right? You've got the use for mentally ill prisoners. They can use it even as a protection thing to put high-profile prisoners on the healthcare wing, out of sight, out of mind, bam, right? Then you've got, then you look at the record levels of violence and self-harm and assaults and stuff in the prisons and overdoses. So healthcare wings are full for the most part, right? Once the healthcare wing's full, they can put them in the segregation unit. But again, in the segregation unit, you've got prisoners that are being held in there because they're not behaving in general population, right? Or again, as protection. It's well known that segregation units, look at Tommy Robinson and HMP Belmarsh, right? Ross Kemp. Tommy Robinson was held he wasn't put on the HSU, the high security unit, he was put in the segregation for his own safety, right? So again, the prison are very limited to where they can isolate a prisoner really badly. And like I said, when you've got this virus and stuff, they've got to have some contact because, again, if you're in the seg, screw's still got to open your cell, still got to hand you your food. Then you're handing your thingy back, right, your plate and everything, and like I said, contaminated and everything else. Like I've said, guys, prisons are breeding grounds and are going to be breeding grounds for viruses. When I've been in prison myself, I ended up getting like cold and flu. Right, because I'm living in close proximity with a shitload of other blokes and we're all coughing and sneezing and fighting. And like I said, not everyone that coughs covers the mouth. If you're outside and someone coughs, it just goes into the atmosphere. In prison, if you're in a cell and you're coughing your guts up and stuff and you've got this bloody virus, your pad mate's more or less nailed on to get it, right? Then he's going on social, mixing with other people. You're mixing with other people. Then you're going on a social visit. Then you're coming back. Then you might have a legal visit. Then you might go to the wing gym if you're feeling up to it, right? Honest to God, guys, I can't stress enough. It's a scary, scary, scary prospect. Prisoners contracting this virus. And like I've said, according to this prison source that I've got no reason to disbelieve, 3 prisoners at Forest Bank have contracted it. Someone said that someone's got it in HMP Leeds, one of my subscribers. Someone said that 2 or 3 prisoners in Cardiff have got it. Someone has said that 1 person in Swansea prison has got it, right? So Leeds, Swansea, Cardiff, Forest Bank, a confirmed case. They're all unconfirmed them. And then you've got a confirmed case down at High Down Prison. So it's in prisons, guys. I genuinely believe so. If someone rings you, if you have got a loved one in prison, right, and they're telling you that this coronavirus is in the prison, right, please try. If anyone's got a mobile phone within prison, obviously they're banned and everything. If anyone can get their loved one to fold up a piece of paper with this coronavirus information or say confirmed cases, get it out on a visit, go on a visit, fold it into like the size of a stamp, hand it over, take it out, unravel it, send me a picture. I'll put my number in the description, right? Or simple, if you have been told by your loved one that's in prison that that there are confirmed cases within the prison, do me a favor, please. Contact me or contact the local and national media and get the story out there, because it will force the prisons to act. Because if not, and you lot know that there's prisoners are telling you there's confirmed cases within the prisons, and you keep hush about it, that's what the prison want you to do. You're being part of the problem, not part of the solution. And like I've said, even if the prison, if it hits the media and stuff like that, with this coronavirus in Forest Bank, I've put out a structured email, local, national, radio news, national, local, radio, tabloids, and news channels and everything, because it needs to be lit up. We need to keep it in the public eye. And like I said, we're all right on the out and stuff, right? Yeah, supermarket shelves are naked and stuff because stores look like they've been raped, right? But the facts is prison, this is highly dangerous, very contagious, highly deadly. And like I've said, if they stop social visits, for me, that could potentially see extreme violence being used up and down our prison system. Prisoners will not take it politely, and they will not take it kindly at all. But like I said, guys, if someone rings you that's serving in prison and they tell you that there's confirmed cases within the prison, contact me, email me, WhatsApp me, whatever you need to do, and I will take it to the media. Like I said, it's not about us, it's about prisoners. Let's do the right thing. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.